questions, which there's always so many. Okay, we're recorded now. So I guess if you have a question, put it in the chat or just unmute yourself, but please mute yourself afterwards. Because if I mute all, then I ended up muting Maria also.
Hi, I'm Joyce. Yesterday I was having an issue with my Healy watch app and it kept closing. So I uninstalled it to reinstall it, but it's not on the Play Store anymore. And it's not on the Play Store today either.
Okay, so I'm having a watch problem myself right now, but it is on the iPhone App Store. I don't have an Android.
Okay, it's not on Android, and I've checked on multiple devices.
Maria, do you have an Android or iPhone?
I have an Android.
Can you look if it's on the App Store? Because we can show your screen on that one, because it was on the iPhone App Store today.
Do you want to share my screen now?
It disappeared yesterday afternoon and hasn't been on the Android since.
Oh, okay, so Les is saying the same thing. Maria, can you just look before we show your screen? I don't want you to delete yours though, in case we need it to show it. I'm having a problem, you guys, with the watch not syncing, and I've been trying since yesterday, and then we got a little bit of news from Chris that some people were still having problems since the last update on the pink and blue dot app. And I was gonna just actually, let me do that first, Maria, I think. Thing is, if I'm showing my screen, I can't admit people. So I was hoping to take a few questions before we start showing screens, because then people just can't get in.
I have a question.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, it is showing up today on the iPhone. I have the Healy watch available on the App Store today, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, they're saying it's not on the Android App Store. I uninstalled my watch today and loaded it, and I am on an iPhone, but these people are saying it's not on the Android App Store.
So Gwen, I have a suggestion. You might know this, but my watch, I could not get it to connect either. I don't know what happened. It got disconnected. And I went through everything. I literally spent hours. Okay. I uninstalled, I reinstalled, I went through everything. But if you go to the FAQs, number 4 is you got to make sure the sleep mode is off. And I thought my sleep mode was off because it had that little line through through it. And when I went in there and toggled it off on, so you can make sure it's off, then it connected right away. And I'm like, oh my goodness, all this time spent, where if I'd have just went in there and did that, I assumed it was off because I had never turned it on, and it looked like it was off because the line was through it. So if you'll make sure their sleep mode is definitely off, then that might.
Okay, Vanessa, I don't even know what sleep mode you're talking about. Are you talking about on the phone or I have my watch in front of me. I can't get into the watch app. It won't let me get past the very first thing.
Okay, no, this was I could not get my watch to connect with my phone. It would not pair. And so I could turn my watch on and it had the functions like, what you would see if you didn't have your Healy, but it would not pair up. And the reason it would not pair up is because the sleep mode was on. And the sleep
mode, wait, but sleep mode on what? I'm still not understanding.
On the watch. The sleep mode was on the watch. And I had never.
If you can't get into the app.
Because you can still do it on the phone, and that I must have done something. And let me tell you what I did today. I was going through
Wait, back up. But where on the phone? I'm confused on even what you're talking about. Sleep app on what?
No, the sleep app on your watch. If I said a phone, I'm sorry. The sleep app on the sleep function, not the app, the sleep function on your watch has got to be turned off for it to pair with your phone.
But how do you do that?
So I just, it was, the watch was on, and here's how you turn it on, because I accidentally turned it off today, and I'm like, well, how do I get it back on? And I just went in and watched everything. But to turn it back on, you just have to plug it into a USB port and it comes back on. So if you ever turn it off, that's how you have to turn it back on, by putting in the USB port. So if you put in the USB port, it turns it back on, and then you're able to just, click on the watch at the functions. And so I had to just keep going through the functions until I got to the sleep mode. And then I thought it was off, but because there was a line through it, but it was not off, it was on. And so when I turned the sleep mode off on my watch, it immediately paired up with my phone. So I just want to save anybody out there that's having that issue, and that could be the issue.
Okay, wait, so I just found that mine says sleep mode and it says off already. It's not on.
Yeah, I thought mine was too. So toggle it off, on, and then make sure it's off, and then then try to pair it up and see if that'll work.
I'll do that right now while we're sitting here joining people, because that might be a good thing to know for everybody. I didn't know that either, so that's a good tip. And Maria, did you see them on the Android app? It's there or not?
It is not there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you guys can see my screen. I actually going to show my screen real quick. If people are in the waiting room, I guess they'll just have to wait. But I want to do this for the sake of maybe since Vanessa has figured out something that I've never heard of before. Let me show my screen, because I did charge my watch wasn't dead, but I did put it on the USB thing about an hour ago, and I can show my watch function here in a second. But what's happening for me, and this is something I put on Telegram, but I didn't get a response yet, is that it's doing this, device is not found. So I went to Bluetooth, turned it on, turned it off, I charged my battery, and I also uninstalled the watch app and reinstalled. And now I've just flipped the sleep off on, even though it was already off. And what's happening is it just times out and says it cannot connect. So I just get this message over and over. But the other thing that's happening for me all of a sudden, well, since the update thing happened, is when I go into Heal Advisor, it says inactive subscriptions. So I think
that too.
that's happened to less.
Yeah, now, unfortunately, it's been happening every month. They don't have an auto that I can't find, but it reinstalled after 2 days. This time it's been a week.
Mine hasn't worked since last Tuesday for sure, because after the update, I thought it was going to work and then it didn't. And that's why I called
to me then.
But this is showing inactive. I mean, so I think anything else, Vanessa, at least in my case and maybe Les's case, because my sleep mode is definitely off.
Yeah, my watch is working fine.
So mine is still connected ever since I did that. That's just a little tidbit for those who have tried everything else. Make sure your sleep mode is off on your watch. But it may not, help with yours in this situation, but it is something that I found out. And also to turn your watch on, you have to put it in the USB port.
Gwen, did you delete the Heal Advisor search app and the watch app also?
I did the watch app and I've deleted both of them and brought them back on.
Okay, because that happened to me once with the Heal Advisor search, and I just deleted it, and then I got it back once I, and reinstalled it.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it again, but I've already done it an hour ago before the call, and I did it yesterday. That didn't make either one work, and then I put in a support ticket. So that's
Has
what's
it been
going.
3 months?
Has it what?
Has it been 3 months since you purchased it, the watch app bundle?
It has been 3 months, but they have my credit card.
Yeah,
and
that's the issue. We actually have to go in and try to pay for it, and you can't pay for it right now either. We've tried.
Who is this talking?
It's Michelle Kaza.
Hey, Michelle. So who said that it's because of payment?
Because I've had the same situation happen to 3 of us who've purchased it in the end of May, the whole bundle. And
I got mine early.
Right. It's not automatically renewing, even though it said it's going to, but we need to actually put in a ticket to allow us to renew it in the back office. And I've already tried to do it in the back office, and they're not, I'm not quite sure why it's not, they're not letting us update it, our payment, or take the payment. It's an error in the computer programming.
Okay, well, thanks for saying that, Michelle, because I had no idea. I just said inactive subscriptions, and because it happened coincidentally with the technical challenge 2 weeks ago, well, going into this last week, I thought, well, it's still that, but I wouldn't have even thought it had to do with money, because it said it would auto renew, and it gives you that little message when you sign up. And I am probably in that same boat as you guys, because I think I ordered the watch. Well, it's definitely by the end of May. I got it like the beginning of June.
Yes. So that's our issue. Trying to just get our payments to go through. It does not automatically take our payments. And that's it.
Thanks, Michelle. That's very helpful to know.
You're welcome. Sorry for that one.
No, that's just good for everybody to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more of us that bug them, the faster it'll get fixed too, is my thought.
Yeah, thanks for that, because it sounds like there's several different things going on. I wonder, does anyone on the call, Vanessa, Cindy, or Maria, I don't know if you've heard anything because I talked to you earlier, but does anyone know why the app's not on the Android app store?
No, I have not heard about that. Actually, I had Dr. Colleen asked me about it right before we got on the call, and I said, let's ask Gwen. So
Yeah,
I heard
haven't
about
heard-
it either.
we'll find
I
out.
just heard about the inactive search analyzer. That's a lot of people are having that.
yeah, inactive. It says inactive subscription.
Inactive subscription, yeah.
I wonder if they're all at the 3-month mark. I wonder if that's the common denominator, because we're already at the end of September. So that would affect anyone that bought in May or June. Well, and into end of June, early July, possibly.
Okay, let's do this, and maybe mine will be charged up enough we can at least show some screens. Yes, this is being recorded. I'm just going to go through some of the stuff in the chat. Yes, this is being recorded.
I have a
Where do I
question.
get it? What's that?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, wonder if somebody could help me. I'm having problems downloading the resonance, and I've dealt with my upline. They're having problems helping me get it downloaded also. I've uninstalled, reinstalled, and it still won't set up.
I have an that I can show that right now, Maria, the one from
Okay.
Maybe after the class, somebody can maybe call, or I'd like to make a connection with somebody to help me on 3-way calls possibly also. So I'd like to build this business too.
I don't think that's the issue, sir. I'll show you a text I just got from Chris, who, wait, let me try to find the right thing. So right here, wait, no, where was that text?
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt, but thank you.
Yours work? No, that's what I want to ask is.
Let me see. Oh, right here. It didn't look this long. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up for a minute, but I'm gonna send this out by email. This answers that question, I think. That you have to completely shut down both apps, go to the settings, shut off the Bluetooth, wait a minute, turn it back on. I'm gonna send the whole thing out by email. I had responded to Chris to send this to me by email since I don't get emails on my phone. This came from Chris and Amy Everett, and this was the issues with the resonance not working after the update. And also if you have any little pink dot program issues, and it is supposed to resolve the inability to add clients or the inability to complete the download of the resonance files. So I have a whole thing typed up that I got just minutes before this call. So I will share this by email as soon as Chris sends it to me, or someone sends it to me by email, because I had just seen this like a few minutes ago.
I just sent it by email, and it came from Cindy's group. She's also got it posted in Frequency Times.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And I know Cindy's on here. Cindy, can you tell people how to get to Frequency Times? Because it seems like you might have more announcements that's on some of the other groups.
Gwen,
Yes.
it's Julie. I have a quick question about that. Is that a Telegram app or is that Facebook?
It's a Telegram app.
Okay, thank you. That would be great.
And I don't know what
Julie?
happened to Cindy.
Julie, can you hear me?
Yes,
Wait.
I can hear you.
Hi,
Oh.
hi there. This is Kathleen and I'm Mark. We received our devices for about a week ago, and we bought the watch and the residence and the nutrition, but we're not able to get onto the nutrition. It says inactive subscription. So is
Wait, sir, I want to just back up a minute. Is Cindy on the call? I think Cindy was on the call. I heard her a while
I'm
ago.
here. Yeah.
Can you tell people how to get to your Telegram group so that they can see some of these announcements maybe faster than what the other groups are posting? Because no one knows anything about these current issues yet.
Okay. If you go into Frequency Times Facebook group, then you can see the invitation there, or I can just I'll pop it in the chat and you can just grab it and join. Okay.
Thank you so much, because, first of all, for you guys that are not used to Telegram, you have to load the Telegram app first and then go grab it. So if you don't have Telegram, you need to get Telegram to know what we're talking about, and then go pull up the Telegram from there. For the person who was just talking, if we can come to a consensus, maybe as a group, that some like mine are also inactive, but I bought mine 4 months ago. We're not sure why they're inactive. Now there's two theories right now. One is that there's something wrong, which is obvious. The other one is that it might be that my subscription expired and they didn't auto bill me. But then there's also some people that are saying that the app isn't available on the Android store, and also some people saying that, I think you must be getting the same screen I am if you guys are still seeing my screen. If I go to the watch and the DNA apps, the advisor and the DNA apps.
Gwen, we're not seeing your screen. All we see is Gwen Foster. So if you shared your.
Oh, I was showing that message from Chris. I thought you guys could see that. Hold on just a second. Let me go back, and it's hard to keep up with what my screen is doing. Okay. So first of all, let me go back to what I thought I was sharing, which is right here. And there was this long, nice text from Chris that came from Amy, and I guess it was Cindy's group. And it was about the pink and blue dot and how to fix the glitchy stuff. I will send this out by email, and I'll try to do it tonight. So instead of anyone needing a 3-way call or one-on-one, this is the instructions on how to resolve it. So I'll send this out tonight. And if you're on my email list, you'll get it. And if you're not on my email list, please share it. Okay. Then for Cindy, who has a great group, if you guys can go to Frequency Times on Facebook and then get her Telegram app, you'll get connected, and she's posting stuff. It sounds like more proactively than like the corporate Telegram stuff.
Gwen,
Yeah?
I just put the invitation in the chat so they can just click on it. And,
Okay.
And I was not able to get into my residence at all. It was frozen for like 5 days after the update. And last night, through those instructions, it worked beautifully and instantly.
I'm going to post it in Frequency Genius as well. I hope
Okay,
that's
yeah.
all right.
It really works well.
Hey, Gwen,
Yes.
when you had your phone up a while ago, we can actually take pictures of that what to do text. If you wouldn't mind bringing it up again and bringing it up to the top and leaving it there for maybe 5 or 10 seconds, we can take a picture of it and then scrolling down, because I think it would just take 2 pictures worth.
I definitely will do that. So give me 1 second. Let me log in. Oh, shoot.
Hey, Linda?
Cindy, in step 1 of those instructions, when it says completely shut down, both the pink and blue, does that mean uninstall?
No, it just means kill them. That's all.
Swipe them closed?
Swipe them closed. That's all.
Okay.
if you just follow it just exactly the way it is, I mean, she walked through it with me. Amy walked through it with me last night, and we had it completely done in less than a half an hour, 20 minutes. And it worked really great.
I just put it in the chat, folks. You should be able to save the chat, I think. And it's in the instructions are right there in the chat right now.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Okay, so for the people that are having inactive subscriptions, whether it's the digital nutrition or the advisor, mine is too. What we're saying is we don't know how to fix this. So getting on a call with someone to try to fix this, I can't even fix my own. So this, what I would suggest is that you put in a support ticket and let them know. I mean, I kind of like to know on this call how many people's watch apps are actually working right now. And we're going to flip to Maria's screen here in a second. Because if it's most people, then it sounds like it's still a technical issue. But I know a lot of people bought their watch bundle after me and Michelle and a few people that bought early. If those aren't working either, then, you know, it might be more than one issue. It may not just be a subscription problem. Maria, did you test yours to see if yours is working?
Mine is, I've got, if you want to share, I think I've got my screen up.
Okay, I'm gonna stop mine, and then I'm gonna
you're gonna go to Maria's phone.
Maria's phone, and I'm gonna make you the host. So you'll also have to watch for people trying to get admitted. And then once you show your screen, it's gonna show whatever you have on your phone, like it does with me.
Quite a few people in the chat are saying that they got theirs recently and they are working, but their subscriptions have not run out yet.
Okay, but that man said he just got his. I know Julie Parker just responded that I know she hasn't had hers 3 months and it's not working either.
Yeah, Gwen, I've got my watch. I've got the apps on my, I think they're available on my Samsung tablet, and I think some are available or on the Pink Dot, the watch apps, but the actual watch app itself, no, can't access that. And yeah, I'm still in the 3. I've got, I think, another 6 weeks left before they start charging again.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you wouldn't fall into that category of your subscription finished. Someone asked what's the Facebook group, and it's frequency times. That's Cindy's Facebook group. Maria, can you share your content?
I'm working on it. It somehow won't allow, okay, allow permission. There we go.
Okay. Now it's trying to share. Okay. Now we can see your phone. Yay.
Okay. So my phone is charging, but I do have availability of, at least we can go through. Do you want me to go to the digital nutrition first? Or where do you want me to start?
Yeah, whatever you want. I mean, we should just kind of know we're at the 25-minute mark for anyone that wants to get past all the introduction and questions that we're at.
Do you want to just stop and restart recording again from here, since we've got my screen up?
Well, the problem with it is the way Zoom does this is if you don't end the call, it's just one recording.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll just,
Okay,
so yeah, whatever app you want to start with, Maria, we're all ears. I sent out, by the way, a letter that showed what Tammy sent out were all the enhancements to the watch, but since mine's not working, I haven't been able to see those enhancements yet. So if there's any of those that you were able to look at, Maria, have you had time to look at the new things yet, or not really?
I have not, and I am very inept on the watch because I just got it recently and really haven't delved into it. So if you want to use my screen and just tell me where to go based on what you think people need to know, that would be great.
Okay, well, let's start with, let's see. I mean, wherever you want, I'd start with the buttons at the bottom. And you can also, take your, just for people that have been on the calls for a while, you see Maria's HRV is better than mine by a lot. But she also got, when she first got her watch, it was a little bit lower. You said, so why don't you tell them that story? So why don't you tell them what your number was and what
This is interesting. Do you do your HRV laying down or sitting up?
Well, I've done both because sometimes I'm on a demo doing it, and sometimes I'm, laying in bed like I'm supposed to, like doing it. So
yeah. So you're definitely supposed to be laying down. So 61 is where I started laying down. I did that the 1.5 minute. I really want to do the 5 minute. I was at 22, I think, or 21 or something like that when I first did it sitting up. So definitely, however you start doing it, continue to do it the same way until you finally switch. But for best heart rate variability is supposed to be in a reclined or prone position. And so that's how we're supposed to be doing it. So if you're
Listen, they're talking about HRV.
Sorry, if you guys can mute yourselves in the background, I'm not host anymore, so I can't mute you. Can you please mute yourself if you unmuted to ask a question? And someone asked, what's HRV? It's heart rate variability, which Maria was just saying, but you might not have caught that's what it is. So it's a heart rate function test.
Yeah, the heart rate variability. Where it says 61, it's the teal green box at the bottom, since I don't have a pointer. So that one, you know, you definitely want to get to it. You click on well, you click on it. It just doesn't have any data at the moment. I just clicked on the box. But if I click on the BRA, then this is how you get to it. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to get to it from here because my watch is plugged in. I'll see if I can. Let me just see if it'll allow me to do this. See how it says start 1.5 minutes, so 1.5 minutes, 5 minutes, 7.5 minutes. You want to do it as long as possible because your heart rate variability is basically showing how your body is dealing with just stress at a completely resting state. And it'll show your tension and your pressure, and then it'll give you programs that's specific to what the readings are. So I know that, let me get to, and again, you might have to walk me through this, Gwen, because I'm not proficient at this at all yet. I go back to home where we were.
So you click on the little BRA in the middle and then start.
And then you can start. And then I don't have my watch picked up, but what you'll do is you'll place your finger on the metal band on your watch in a reclined position, and you'll just allow it to read you. And so you'll get a heart beat, and in the BRA and the PPG, you'll get the action showing stress, and you'll get your heart rate. It'll test everything. If I go back to home, why won't it let me go there? That's saying that I have to stop share to do that.
What is the PPG?
PPG stands for?
You know, there's I see a bunch of questions about all the initials. I want to guys, if you go into the back office, and you need to know this anyway with your watch because you don't really get a user manual with the watch. If you go into my tools, and then under my tools, go to my downloads, and then under the downloads, go and choose the option under the download category that says user manuals. It just says manual, and then you'll see the one that says the watch US English. And that has all of your little tips and tricks and abbreviations and what everything is doing. And like it has the BRA on page 16, the heart rate information 16, heart rate variability 16, stress. Someone asked about rigidity. That's a measurement of cardiovascular rigidity. So all of these little things are on a 26-page document in your back office that I recommend that you all read if you have the watch, so you can kind of know what these little, you know, things are talking about. Like BP, I'll give you some of the abbreviations, and I'm looking at the document right now because there's a lot of them. So BRA stands for bioenergetic rhythm analysis. HRV is heart rate variability, which we already said. BPM is heartbeats per minute. And then there's the calorie screen. Let me see what the other ones.
Maybe you could tell us what they stand for when the picture comes up on the phone.
Well, she's in that category right now. These are all heart rate functions, and I'm trying to get to the picture on the screen and in the manual that talks about the PPG. But what I'm just saying is all these questions about what all these little sections do and abbreviations are in the user manual, starting on page 16 is where all the heart rate variability stuff is. I'm just letting you know what the reference is, because when you're not on the call with us, you're still not going to know what it means.
Hey guys, the little circle like on the screen that we're looking at right now, where it says workout minutes, and there's a little gray circle, and I think it has an I in the middle. If you click on that, it'll tell you. So like for BRA, when we were on the previous screen, if you click click on that, it'll tell you. It actually has info. Now this screen, for some reason, doesn't have it, but on mine it does, which is really weird. But if you ever see those little circles, that'll give you more information.
Yeah, so see where it says active minutes, and then what she's talking about, the little gray eye next to workout minutes and active minutes. And then it does go through, I don't know if it shows it on the sleep.
And
yeah.
you love the PPG word. I had to look it up because I knew it was a word I've never heard of before, but it's photoplethysmography. So PHOTOPLETHYSMOGRAPHIE. So I knew that I didn't know how to say that word, and I had to go back in the user to find it. That is page 17. So that's why you still need the user manual, because that's not, even if you click on stuff, I have not seen the description of that under PPG.
Arrogance, pride, worry, fears, anxiety,
Okay,
frustration.
I'm just putting into, I'm going ahead and I'm putting into the chat what that is, so that everybody can copy and paste that. I just took that off of Google. Okay, Gwen, where do you want to go from here?
Well, why don't you read what that says on Google, since it's not in the user manual.
Okay, let me get back to that real quick. It says photoplethysmography is an uncomplicated and inexpensive optical measurement method that is often used for heart rate monitoring purposes. PPG is a non-invasive technology that uses light source and a photodetector at the surface of the skin to measure the volumetric variations of blood circulation.
There you go. And I want to tell you guys that don't have the watch yet, or those that haven't noticed, is that there is a light sensor and a metallic sensor on the inside of the watch. And if you don't ever have the watch on and activate it, you'll see the little light come on. That's a light sensor. So you have a metal you have a metal and a photo sensor on the back side of your watch that would normally be facing your skin. So that's why the user manual is so important. And just look up whatever don't know, because there's a lot of questions, but some of them aren't really super simple answers.
Okay, so I know that, you know, I don't have any activity on here because my watch has been dead for over a day. So, and obviously 16% of my steps wasn't doing really good that day when it finally died on me. So if I go to the health and I go back to, this is day 6. If I go back, let me see if it'll allow me to go back to the 20th here. I guess it's not going to give me, it's not going to give me all of the different programs that it showed I needed.
It would if you would do your BA live again, your heart rate variability thing. If you did it, that's when the recommendations come up.
Got you, but I can't go back I can't go back into the calendar here and get like what I was running on day 4. Because right here I'm on day 6 and it says being.
Yeah, it would be on the program list though, if it's a program program list.
Okay, where would I find that?
Under the advisor out.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
So so Maria, do you think your watch is charged enough to actually do a HRV?
I could check. Let me get into the advisor app here.
Okay. So if you go here into the advisor, the Healy programs. Someone has noises going on in the background.
Can everybody mute? I can't figure out how to mute since I'm the host on my phone. So if everybody could just check their phone and mute, please. Someone's eating, which probably is amazing right now. Okay.
So
do you want me to
not right there, but down on, I can't see the bottom part of your screen. And Maria, Ron is saying there's people waiting to get admitted. That's the problem with being the host and then trying to do everything is.
How do I do that on my phone?
You can make someone a co-host too, and they can take care of that for you.
How do I do that?
Let
Now
me
that I'm
see if
on
I,
the screen.
Click on their
Change
image.
to their name. Just go to their
Here.
name. Sorry.
Maria, stay where you are. I'm gonna claim host and then try to help you real quick.
Thank you, because I can't get back to that screen on my phone for some reason.
Yeah, so let me see the waiting room. Yeah, there's lots of people in there. Thanks, Ron, for that little tip.
Thank you, Ron.
And I don't know, when I make you a host, it doesn't give me the option of co-host. So let me just see if there's something.
If she's a co-host, she can screen share too. So just go up to her image and there's 3 dots and it'll give you the option to add someone as a co-host.
And Gwen, if you wanted to, you can disable the waiting room for a period of time.
I know, I don't know how to do it once we're already live.
I can tell you, if you click on security, if you see
Yeah, I don't-
security and you click on that, you can check disable the waiting room.
I don't see a security. Is it under settings? Whoever just said that is it.
That was Joyce. I'm not sure. It might be under more.
Okay, just give me 1 second, you guys, because some of the, it won't let me, waiting room is locked. It won't let me change it. It's on, and I can't make it not be that way.
Are you able to make yourself a co-host, Gwen?
Yeah, I'm trying. No, I'm trying. Hold on, because I got stuck with looking at the security. So let me try one thing. So my options, assign co-host. So I've just made you co-host.
Perfect.
Okay, then go ahead and you'll have to share your screen again. But that way I can manage the attendee thing.
Okay, I think my screen's being shared, right? No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. I see it.
Is it? Okay. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
good. Okay.
Just
All right,
for-
so.
Go down to programs at the bottom of that screen.
Okay.
Then if you scroll up, you can see the different scheduled programs and the active programs, and you'll see the list. But that's just your list for today. So if you scroll back up and see the date, you'll see that.
The volume on.
But Maria, you can go to the right and click on program pool to get to all the programs that are in the program list now.
So right next to active programs at the top, you want me to press program pool?
Yeah, and that gives you all the programs that have come up for you that you can click show all. I'm gonna come out for a minute again to mute people because they're still not realizing they're not muted.
So that's a lot of programs.
Yeah, it's a lot. Joyce, can you please mute yourself? Joyce, Dorian, because when I try, it won't let me for some reason.
I need a lot of stuff, guys.
And if you go to Joyce on the participant list, can you mute her from there?
She already did, and I tried and it wouldn't let me.
Okay, that was a lot of programs.
Well, it's a lot because every time that you're doing something and looking and then adding it to the program pool. So that's why, you can also take them out of here. But that's why the calendar will rotate them. And once you get through like 6 or 7 or however many, it'll rotate. But if you don't do any, they just carry over to the next day.
So let me ask you that, because that's a good question then. So are you talking about in the Heal Advisor search where I type something in like muscle pain or something like that? Are those programs going to automatically be added to this queue?
No, not unless you hit the little plus sign next to it. But
okay, so
if you watch and the watch came up with a recommendation, it does come up here.
Got you. Okay. So I hit active programs again, and I've noticed that all of them are color coordinated. So as I go down, obviously balance is on Tuesday, and then pure, it says P1, that is on Saturday if I go back up. So I'm looking at the color coordination of all of the active and scheduled programs.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
want to show everybody, if you go to the advisor part and you want to just pull up a condition, I can show you how you can add it or start the program, which is one of the functions that they said was improved with the last update.
How do I get back there? I just hit home.
You can hit home or, yeah, go to home.
Okay, it keeps clicking me out of it when I hit home, or it says applications, annotation stop share. I can't actually click on home.
Just click how you're feeling today. Start with that.
Yay. Okay.
Okay, and then confirm today's entry. Now, go into, now click the home button.
See, it pulls up that annotation stop share.
Then I would swipe up on the app and I would go back in.
Let me just see if I can just barely touch it on the bottom. I did it once. There we go. Okay.
Okay, and go to advisor, type in anything that you want to try to resolve.
So let's say, pain. Let's just say that. Okay, how about we? I know that I've had people say I can't get to, it'll take me here. It takes me to a heal, a person to go to an expert. But if I just put in muscle pain and it didn't show up anything, but what if I put in ache, muscle ache? See, then that shows me things. So you kind of got to start getting word clever with this database, because if you put in something that isn't there, it'll say contact an expert, but I just went from pain to ache. And here I have a whole bunch of things that I can run based on that.
Another good example of that would be like fibromyalgia. I think fibromyalgia is in there, but if muscle pain wasn't in there, I would call that fibromyalgia anyway.
Well, and
So-
you said Parkinson is in there, but not Parkinson's apostrophe S. So again, you have to just get really clever with your wording and your typing and kind of put in the systems and glands and system organs and tissues that are associated with what you're looking for. Because I just went from muscle pain to muscle ache, same thing in my world, but not in the Healy Advisor search app. It's a little different. Okay, so here we are, I've got muscle ache. So if I wanted to run this today, tell me what I would do.
Okay, so stamina and the fitness program. So the top recommendations are what I found is they're in the order of importance. So it'll give you like 3 to 5 or 6, and then it'll say other programs, which are to me, the ones that would be more optional. Like if I was looking at this, I would definitely go with the top pick. So the top, it looks like 5 for you. So I would hit, if you want it to go to your program pool, you hit the plus sign.
I'm gonna do that, okay.
And then automatically goes to the program pool. So it's already went there. So you don't have to do anything. And if you hit the play button, and if you have your Healy turned on and your pink dot closed, it will open the pink dot app and go to the fitness program section and start the stamina program.
Gotcha, okay. So if I wanted to hit regeneration 2, I would just click it and say, okay, and now that's been added to my program pool as well.
Yeah, but what happened with me by showing people this is I ended up with like 60 things in my program pool, and then I just deleted the app and started over because I had a lot of junk in there from looking up conditions for other people. I see something going on in the chat that I would also recommend. Like, will you delete muscle ache and put in just the word I, like single E-Y-E?
Muscle I?
No, just I. Take out the whole thing. Put in I. And then enter. Okay. So a lot of times people are asking me on specific hearing conditions, like, ringing in the ears or tinnitus, and eye conditions like macular degeneration, cataracts, glaucoma. If it's not the condition in there, then go to the body part. Like it shows the eye programs, what stuff you would use for the eyes, or you can put in ear. I found that if you put in the S, just try EYES. But on some things, when you do that, it still shows up an I, but I found on some things it doesn't. Like if you use the plural, like kidneys may not show up, but kidney will show up. So if you have a certain body part condition, instead of using the condition name, use the body part. If it's, like, I don't know if everybody knows this, but like another one I would try, Maria, is like gout. I think it's not spelled right, but yeah, gout, that's spelled right. So gout is in there, but gout's also a kidney condition. So like if it'd be interesting, go to other programs and see if it picks up kidneys at all. Because generally gout runs together with diabetes and kidney issues.
How do
Is
I
there,
do that?
is there anything under other?
I can't get to it to make it go. That
Oh,
weird.
you did.
So
A sec-
Gwen, today I was doing macular degeneration, but I put in just macular, and it had a whole list just under macular for the eyes. So we
Okay.
really do have to be creative.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
See, there's kidney, and that's the first thing I would go to with gout is the kidneys. But I would go with what Healy recommends. But Cindy's right. If you have a condition, try variations on the condition. Some of the other examples we've given on past call is seizures not in there, but epilepsy is, and epilepsy just means you've had more than one seizure. If the condition's not in there, try one word of the condition, like instead of macular degeneration, just put in macular. Or if it's, what's another one, like muscle ache, muscle pain, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, those are all very similar, even though rheumatoid arthritis is a little bit more of swollen joints and not muscles, but fibromyalgia is definitely muscle aches and pains. So think of different words that might show up for that condition, because it may not be obvious. And just like Maria said with Parkinson, it's in there, but Parkinson's isn't. I think I ran across that too with, it might have been multiple sclerosis. I think sclerosis was in there, but when I put in multiple sclerosis as 2 words, it wasn't. So try different variations of the health condition that you're looking for, because a lot of them are in here.
Okay, so somebody wants us to show how our watch tells us what programs it needs. That was on the other slide, and I can go back to that had the heart rate variability. This is a completely separate app that anybody can own. You don't have to have that. You can have this program outside the watch. This is just, I'm putting this into play, but the other screen that I was showing that had the heart rate variability, the home screen on that will actually show what the Healy watch is recommending for that day. What we're doing here, if I take Pure where it says the plus signal and I hit that one and add to my program pool. Now, when I go over to the watch or go over to the watch app, it's going to show those that I've added from this particular app over to the watch app. So if we're done with this, I can show that. Or what else do we need to show on this, Gwen?
Did you say that our dog has cataracts very bad? You said look up eye instead of cataract?
We just put in eye. Let me do it again so you can see it if you can see your screen. Yeah, and this just shows basic care for the eye.
Okay.
And cataract, try it without the S on the end. Like can you try cataract and just see, because I've noticed a lot of conditions like that you think of with it's not spelled right, Maria.
Tell me how, because I'm C-A-R, cat, C-A-T, cat, A, cat.
R, yeah, you had it, A-R-A-C-T.
Okay, I was headed in the right direction.
And so if you put cataracts, it may not show up, and that's another clue, because yeah, there you go. And most people would call it cataracts, but I found with Healy to leave the S off, just like with Parkinson. No one ever calls it Parkinson, but it seems to be the way they have it in the library.
Yeah.
And cataracts is a detox issue. It's a congestion issue. So clean all makes sense to me in that list, but I wouldn't have normally went to the liver for cataracts. I would have more went to the kidneys. What's the programs above liver, Maria?
Eyes, balance, care, pure for cataract.
Yeah. So the pure, the clean all and the liver are still detox. So I still think it's on the right track.
Yeah, Carrie's asking us tonight about the watch. Are we doing other questions? Well, we were hoping to do the watch, but we had a lot of technical difficulties getting to this place where we could even show the Heal Advisor. So we are going to be answering other questions too. We're just trying to get through some of these screens while I have mine while it's being friendly to me and allowing me to do that.
Maria, pop over to your digital nutrition and see what they have for the nutrition. See, that's another part of it that's so cool.
Yeah.
Is that we can find out what we need there as well.
So here's the Healy. And then if I go to digital nutrition for gout, unfortunately no suitable, but we know it would be kidney and liver. One thing that if you don't have the watch, you can go to on the Blue app, so the Resonance app, and click on the amino acids file and find out some of the things that are listed, and then go into your digital nutrition in your pink dot and see if you can find them. So like silica and those type of things are in the pink dot app. So there is a way, even though the pink dot and the Resonance don't scan you for the digital nutrition, there is a way to get an idea of what you need without having the watch.
I meant to ask about diabetes. First of all, would it be diabetes without the S? And secondly, I imagine that liver and pancreas, but what other things? Because we don't have that listed for us. Yeah. Oh, the tonsils.
Yep. Tonsil system, when I'm working with diabetes, it's always a kidney issue, diet, and acidity.
Oh, okay. Kidney, diet, and acidity. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But this list, kidneys up there with liver, and tonsils shows up on a lot of programs. Maria and I were both surprised at how many times tonsils shows up. But anytime that there's something related to the immune function, the tonsil frequencies tend to be there. I have a story I'll share real quick, Maria, that I forgot to tell you. One of the people in our downline sent me an email the other day that she was doing, I think it was just the gold programs, Pure and Release, and she started seeing some major worm activity coming out in her poop. And so the person asked me, well, is there any frequencies specifically for parasites? And there isn't a program for that, but that still goes back to your detox programs, your Pure, Release, Clean All. She never knew she had parasites. No one's ever told her that, but it was right after she got the healing, was doing the gold programs, that she was seeing a bunch of worms in the toilet. And
wow.
So, that's pretty interesting. So I would say if you're not used to examining poop, you might want to start, because there are things that will leave the body, worms particularly, but also if you have like a slimy or yeasty or mucousy stool, that would indicate issues, especially candida. Parasites, and sometimes parasites are not the worm type. Sometimes they look like pieces of rice, which is what happens with dogs and kids, the pinworms. So, if you check out your poop, or if you're having, different poop than normal, it's probably also part of the whole, the detox. And that's why do it without the S, Maria, try without.
Or since I got it in here. No, okay. So just parasite is what you're saying?
I would do it.
I also would like to say I have another naturopathic doctor, and she's also a parasitologist. So she got with a time waiver practitioner, and she put all the parasites that are grouped together. So it's because you can't take it all at one time. It's just too much for you. But she also put in there a frequency for constipation, because you've got to have the bowel open whenever you're working for parasites. Really. And she volunteered to do a Zoom for us talking about parasites. But anyway, to get these extra frequencies, I think Kevin charges like $35 to add it up on your Healys. So anyway, she really gets into detail with the parasites and how you need to go over everything. But she's got them. She's got the frequencies for them, and it's really great. So hopefully, I'll have that scheduled the next week or so.
Well, that'd be nice if she ever wants to come on a Tuesday call. That'd be awesome. If they need, I know they need the time waiver to add them to our Healy's,
Yes.
but that.
Yes, well, she's got the list, and all you have to do is just, it's very simple. Just pay Kevin and he downloads it. I think it's like $30 or $35. He downloads them onto your Healy and you've got them for life.
So Maria, instead of pelvic floor, you could put a condition that would be related, like incontinence or whatever you're trying to resolve.
Yeah, that's what someone had asked about pelvic, or asked about incontinence. And so I put in pelvic floor issue, but really that's a hormonal issue and an adrenal issue. So put in hormones, and this is going to assist with that. There's root chakra that would be associated with.
Yeah, and instead of, yeah, exactly. Instead of incontinence, you could also put just the word urinary.
Didn't come up with anything. I've been trying those variations, and that's why I'm speaking up is urination, urinary tract, I didn't try.
What about bladder?
Urinary comes up.
Urinary tract comes up.
Yeah,
Even if
just
you do
urinary.
urinary tract infection, I think it comes up. I tried that once.
Yeah,
And
so there's urinary
showing up too. So I would use the urinary programs.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, because incontinence can be from a pathogen state or it can be from a hormonal state. It just depends on what's happening and the other symptoms.
Or an emotional state.
Or an emotional, yep.
My mom was living with me in Colorado and I had incontinence, and when she lived with me, and I knew exactly what it was. And when she didn't live with me, it was completely gone. So your territory or boundaries, if you have a child that moves back home after they went away, or, you know, a mother-in-law, a mom, someone that, you know, is vying for space, that's also incontinence. Maria, do you want to go back to the watch? I mean, we can keep looking up conditions, but
okay, so let's go. Yeah, go ahead and tell me where to go now.
What do you think you can do the test so people can see where the recommendations show?
On this one, you mean?
Yeah.
Let's try.
So right where Maria was a second ago, where it showed the one Gold Care app, I want you to go back and show that last screen before you actually do it, though, so people can see what actually happens. Go back to home.
Okay, I'm at the home.
Okay, then go to health. The little, okay, now you see right there where it says being, and right now we're in the meridian clock of bladder. Okay, right now there's no recommendations for her except being. And that's coming up from, I don't know how that analyzed her, but that's what it is recommending. And she could just click on that word being and it would go to that program in the pink dot app. But once she does, now click on the BRA button.
See, mine's not showing anything on that.
It won't until you do this, usually. So then click start, and then Maria's going to do her own analysis, and that's when it's going to give you the recommendations, but you have to do the analysis first.
Well, and that's where mine stops, is I do here and then nothing. And
but then you finger on the little metal thing and let it stay there.
Yep, it's not reading any of it.
You put your
so you're metal plate and not taking it off.
Yeah, because I've done this before, so I know where to put it, and usually it vibrates, but now it's like it's just not.
Yeah, usually if you put it on there, it starts giving you the reading that looks like an EKG.
Yeah, and see, I don't know if my phone just doesn't have enough charge still. That's possible.
Okay, well then we can't show you, but normally if you go to the little line that looks like a heartbeat at the bottom in health, and after you've done the BRA, even if it's just like a minute and a half, you'll get 2 more little things that show up to the right of being, and you're going to see little files. And usually they're going to be blood pressure or HRV or something balancing related to something. But I've seen one that also said one time extreme stress, and it's going to take you to the apps that you need to do for that particular day based on, you know, the feedback of the watch. So if you're looking for, I saw several questions in the chat. If you're looking for those recommendations, you have to do the BRA thing first, and we don't know why it's not working, but that is the next step.
That screen that has the 3 sets of words, like I'm on the BRA, I feel my phone vibrate. Actually see BIA, a wave, but I'm not seeing I never see that screen, the please wear the watch. And what did it say? Only on your left side?
You have to set that up in settings. So if you're in settings, you said that you're going to wear it on the left side, then it needs to be on the left side. That's a settings thing. So settings, you have to tell it if you're putting it on the right or left wrist. And for the person, another person just said, and Cheryl said, yeah, the BRA won't work on a low battery. So Maria, that's what's going on there with the low battery.
That makes sense.
And how often do you do BRA? I was, when mine's working fine, I was doing it daily. And then, so another question is, every time you run the BRA, you receive another recommendation for the next 5 days. So you shouldn't run BRA sooner than every 5 days. I was doing it every day because, well, mine was kind of the same stuff over and over too. Like every once in a while it would change, but mostly it was the heart rate variability for me because my number was so low. But I was doing it every day because I was just playing with it to see what would happen. And I was running the program that would show up. And another question is, the watch acting as the electrode in place of the wires we use with the Healy. The watch is not sending you any microcurrent, so it's totally different than the Healy. So the watch is not sending you anything. It's not doing anything to you except reading your like health measurements, but it's not actually sending you a solution. What's happening is when you click on one of the programs, it connects to your Pink Dot app to deliver the microcurrents for the particular program that shows up, whether it's in digital nutrition or under the advisor apps or the watch apps or your original other apps. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. But the Healy does not have an electrode and it's not giving you any microcurrents.
Which we're really disappointed about, because that's what we originally thought it would do, is that it would tell you what you needed and then it would also deliver it. And we were so excited and we couldn't find the information on, do you need a Healy and to use with your watch. And then once we found out that you do need a Healy, that changed the parameters. But it is nice to be able to have something that's checking you on a physical basis, because the resonance checks your information field. It's an energetic check-in. The watch is a physical, it's taking your data and it's taking all of the information from the physical data. So it is good to have both, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I have a good parasite story on the chat. So someone, Cherie says she had someone else report the same thing, a foot-long parasite from doing the Pure Cycle. So that's pretty awesome. And 2 people are asking for more parasite information. And so Dana says, this is gross. How does a worm poop look? You know, you don't, it's not worm poop. You see worms in your poop and out of your poop. So you see poop and then you see things moving. So basically worms, like an earthworm, and they look like sometimes flatworms, earthworms, or like tapeworms.
They can look like a white piece of string. I mean, they have all different, you can actually Google human parasites and you know, prepare to be grossed out, but we are a mammal. So we're gonna have parasites. That's just,
and like when you see your dog poop and you see something that looks kind of flat and it looks like a little piece of you know what, a flatworm looks kind of like how, this sounds weird, but you know, it's how cow intestines look. It looks like a little piece of that. And then pinworms look like little pieces of rice in your poop. And if you sit there and look at them long enough, you'll see that they're actually moving. And frequencies don't usually kill the parasites. They just make them want to exit your body because the parasites don't like the frequencies. And this is really, you know, who has the most information on this, I think, is Hulda Clark. I mean, she was like the master at using frequencies for parasites and cancer therapies in history. I think she had more information about that, and she had something called a Hulda Clark zapper, which we don't need because we have the Healy, but the Hulda Clark zapper was like a little electronic device you would connect to your body, and you would run these programs for like 20 minutes at a time, like 6 to 12 times a day. And then you would see an exodus of parasites. But I have to share this story because it's so gross. I have, I like gross stories. I have a sister-in-law who was a mortician. And if you guys don't know this already, whenever someone has cancer, they're, pretty toxic. They have usually candida and, well, they always have candida, but they almost always also have parasites. And my mortician sister-in-law told me that whenever people die of cancer, that they, basically have a mass exodus of parasites leaving the body. And the morticians actually have to like spray like Raid kind of stuff to kill the parasites that have exited the body because they're just looking for a new host. And in natural medicine, there's a belief, and I'm one of the people that believe this, that when people are doing chemotherapy, they're either killing the parasites and the fungus or they're killing the body, depending on which one's stronger. So if you have a person with a weak vitality, the chemo usually will take them out. But if they have a strong vitality, it will take out the parasites and candida. And that's when people basically go into remission. But the reason that's important is that if you don't clean up the terrain and all this underlying crap, literally, then you're just going to go back into your old condition again. It's like super important, like the stuff that Maria and I talked about in the natural health workshop, especially on the first day, the basics. Those are things that we live by. Those are things that are important to keep your body clean. And everybody's so worried about the outside. How do I look? How's my, well, me too with my hair, but how's makeup? How's this? How's that? And, we should be worried about the inside. We should be worried about the stuff that you can't see, what parasites that you have. And they're not always just intestinal parasites. So I'm glad I haven't seen any worms with the pure and release, and I've been doing those a lot. Well, now for 4 months, but I'm glad that people are seeing parasites, because that's kind of an eye-opening thing to know that those are inside of you. And if they're inside of you, that means they're probably inside of your family members living in the same household. And I don't say it to be gross. I'm just saying it's a matter of fact. And there's, Anne Louise Gittleman, who wrote a great book. It's a layperson book called Guess What Came to Dinner, says that 86% of Americans, especially in warm climates, have one or more parasites in their body at any given time. So 86% is a pretty big number. So it's very likely. That's why I also am happy that they said with Healy to use the pure and release programs first, because that's like what you're tackling, like that's to me essential before we start getting into all these other body parts. Do you want to add to that, Maria?
I felt the same thing. Both Stephen and I at the same time were going through, what we thought might have been a little bit of a stomach bug, but I think because both of us were doing a lot of the gold programs every single day, not a lot of them, we were doing the gold programs every single day. I think it was making a big difference. So I think some of the healing crises that are just very mild are definitely happening, and we're attributing it to maybe something else. We ate something, we went out to dinner, we tackled something different. But I do feel like that as we go through this, we're going to start seeing different things with our body than we've seen before. And we need to be thinking along those lines. Am I having a healing crisis? Is my body in a place now where it's strong enough to get rid of some of these pathogens that my body's been storing that have come to the surface? So I think we need to be paying attention to that instead of just thinking, oh, I'm getting sick. Maybe your body's finally releasing something. So
yeah, someone says, why don't the parasites chow down on the newly dead body? And it's because they live on living organisms. They live on blood. They live on undigested food. They live on poop. That basically, think of a Girl Scout latrine, that like there's parasites in there. That's what keeps that whole thing going. So a dead body doesn't do a parasite any good whatsoever, because they don't really live on the muscles. Well, trichinosis do, but there's certain parasites that do different things. So like trichinosis is a pork parasite that burrows into your muscle, and it causes like a fibromyalgia type pain. But really, except for that particular parasite, they're not really after your muscles and your skin. They're after other things, especially, undigested food and blood and basically like the toilet. So that's where they'd like to hang out.
And also I'll add to that, heavy metals and like red food dye, any type of those chemicals Parasites thrive on the metabolic, our metabolic waste of our body trying to metabolize those things. They thrive on them. So heavy metals and chemicals go hand in hand with parasites. So if you have a heavy metal issue, you know you've got a parasite issue as well. They just go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's right. Well, all of the pathogens really, if you've had ongoing Lyme, Candida, metals, bacteria, if you have any of those, you're kind of already know you're a breeding ground. And I find that a lot of people, I want to tell this story because it's a really good parasite story. Maria and I were going to play next week in Boulder, but because we're going to get ready for the advanced workshop. But when I was in my old office, well, this was two offices ago, and Maria just reminded me she has an ion foot bath. But if anyone's ever done an ion foot bath, it's a thing where you put yourself in water and there's frequencies and stuff comes out and it's detoxifying. And I had this lady, and this is a typical story with cancer. I had this lady who had a type of intestinal cancer, and she had went through chemo and radiation. I don't think she had surgery, but I don't really remember because this was like 15 years ago. And she, she came to me because she looked like she was like 9 months pregnant, and she was 50 years old. And she had this huge like Buddha belly, and from the chemo and radiation, it had killed her peristalsis, which is what's moving like the food through your stomach and your intestines, and that wasn't working. So she just looked like it's a big kind of thing. And I was using some software that I don't even have anymore, but it was a different old program, and it kept saying parasites, and it kept saying like ascaris and tapeworm and all these different parasites. And this lady went back to her doctor, her oncologist, who said I was crazy and said that there's no way that I could tell her that. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm still telling you it's parasites. But she and the doctor were kind of poo-pooing the idea. So while she was sitting in the ion foot bath, I had a scanner device, which is a Russian handheld thing. And I was putting it on her abdomen to try to stimulate. It's not exactly like a TENS unit, but the sensation is like a TENS unit. And I was trying to stimulate her abdomen to contract, which is what moves poop along. And so that's why it's important to actually exercise your stomach, is because it has muscles, and those muscles have to do with your poop. So anyway, on about the 4th or 5th time she came in, she was sitting in my, I had several rooms, and she was sitting in a room, and we started the ion foot bath. And she always kind of came in flip-flops, and you put your foot in this thing. Did I ever tell you this story, Maria?
No, you haven't.
Okay, so she comes in this one day, and I'm upstairs with a live client, because she would just kind of come do her thing. And my mom was there helping me with the ion foot baths. And all of a sudden, after about 30, 40 minutes, I heard this blood curdling scream. And it was like scary movie scream. I thought she got electrocuted. I just had no idea what had happened. And I come flying out of the other room. I had to go downstairs. I've never traveled so fast in my life because I thought she was dying. I didn't know if it was the scanner or the ion foot bath. And she was freaking out. And I ran in there, and in this tub of the ion foot bath, there was at least 500 parasites. And I am not exaggerating. The water was filled with worms, and they were crawling outside of the ion foot bath. And it was almost the grossest thing I've ever seen. And my mom was like, I'm not touching that. Like, that's beyond my pay to deal with that. And what had happened was she had gassed her foot by stepping on something, like a rock or something, wearing her flip-flops. So she had this open wound in the ball of her foot. And the open wound, and then the ion foot bath got soft, and there was a big enough opening that this big thing of worms came out of her body and was in the water. And they didn't like that frequency again of the ion foot bath, the electrolysis. And so I am not kidding. There was at least 10 different varieties of worms, different sizes, from very short ones like pinworms to very long ones. And it was disgusting. And she fished some out of the bath. We put it in a Pyrex dish, and she took it back to her cancer doctor. and showed them, and she took pictures of the water with her phone, because here's her doctor saying, oh yeah, that lady is crazy, she can't tell you if you have parasites. And so anyway, it was I've had lots of parasite stories. That was one of the craziest ones, but a lot of times people have them and don't know. So and I saw a few questions on the chat that people are asking now. Well, we know that you're supposed to do pure and release, but what about the condition that we bought the Healy for? You know, if it's something else. I was told, and I did what I was told, I don't always do this, but this time I did pure and release. That's all I did, plus my sleep thing. And I still do it because I do think it's that little thing. And if you listen to Martin or some of these other people that have been using Healy a lot longer than me, they always say the same thing: start with pure and release. And then you can add on those other programs. But if a lot of health issues are because of toxicity, and if you don't get rid of them, you know, here's this poor woman. She's one of those people that had she not had some way to get rid of the parasites, you know, because we were trying, but the problem was that her stomach, I believe there were thousands of parasites in her belly, because after the chemo and radiation, they just multiplied, plus the one she had before which is what got her into the cancer situation in the first place. So it's not unusual for people to have major worm infestations, and that's not even counting the single cell parasites that you can't actually see in the toilet, like amoeba, protozoa, giardia, those kind of parasites. You're not ever even going to see those guys.
Right. Well, Gwen, you remember at our shop, we had built-in sinks for the foot spa, specifically for Ionic Foot Spa. And Gwen and I have talked about, she's coming next week, and we talked about doing foot baths together and videotaping it so people can see what it looks like and what they do. And we'll have to decide after this talk if we really want to do that. But we always saw parasites, not in every single person, but we always had, you know, a chance to see something that was either moving or not. And in our clinic, we talk a lot about itchy butt. You know, you're watching a movie at night and you have like what you think is like, oh, a hair. And I'm like, no, it's probably parasites. And so we talk about that. I mean, people are embarrassed, but we talk about that in our clinic. Is like, do you ever have itchy butt? If you do, then you need to get on diatomaceous earth. You need to get on some type of a wormwood or black walnut hull, or some type of a cleanse, some type of a formula that has those items in it that worms don't like, so that you can actually help your body internally. And I love the diatomaceous earth because it's crushed up fossils, so it's not harmful to our mucous membranes because the shards are so microscopic, but to the waxy exoskeleton of a parasite, it just shreds them and they dehydrate in your gut, and then you pass them. So we've had people start taking, you know, a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons of diatomaceous earth food grade per day, and you know, see parts of tapeworm come out. And so it's definitely something that we need to do, and we haven't done, but we've become a society of so many chemicals that we're so saturated with chemicals now, and they really thrive there. So we really need to be doing these types of things more often. If anytime you have an itchy foot, the bottom of your foot itches, and it's not your whole feet, like that would be more like a B5, B6 deficiency, but more like in one spot, you probably have a worm. I mean, it's definitely something to be thinking about. And sorry if you're faint of heart or if you're hypochondriac on this call, because we've just put you in for a really good night of fun.
Yeah,
but
I'm asking some questions related to symptoms, Maria. So I'll name some and you can name some. If you have grinding teeth, that's almost always parasites. If you like chewing crushed ice, that's always parasites. If you feel something crawling under your skin, or it feels like a bug is on your skin, but there's no bug there, that's almost always parasites. Snoring is almost always parasites. Sometimes sinus issues are parasites. Like if you always feel kind of clogged up, that can be actually parasite nests that are blocking breathing. Any kind of digestive disturbance can be parasites. It's not always parasites. Someone asked about losing hair. I don't think of losing hair as always being a parasite issue. I would think of thyroid first, or endocrine system or hormone imbalance before I would think of parasites. I'm not saying it can't be, but also there's a thing that Hannah Kroger said, that if you look at the bottom of your feet, if you can look at the like palm part of the bottom of your foot, and if it looks like a quilted pattern instead of smooth, that's a sign of parasites for sure. So if you can look at the soles of your feet and it looks quilted or like X's, it's not really X's, it's more of a quilted pattern. That's a sign of parasites. So just looking at your feet is a good indicator. Grinding teeth though is a for sure. Nothing really else causes grinding teeth except parasites. Sleep issues. Oh, cyclical issues. If you have issues that are always at the full moon, like if, I think we talked about this in the workshop, but if every month at the full moon, so you'll think that your symptoms are like 1 week a month, but if you happen to look at a full moon thing, you'll see that it's at a full moon, and that's always parasites. Nothing else causes, unless it's a menstrual cycle thing and you're running with the moon, that could be that too. But the parasites and menstrual is the only things that would be influenced by the moon in the body.
A lot of people who own horses, they'll do their deworming around a full moon because that's when they're really active. So
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Heather says that's it. I'm cutting a hole in my foot and putting it in a bucket of water. Yeah, I think we're grossing some people out. Okay, so where should we go with? Oh, Bonnie has a question. Bonnie, can you unmute yourself? See if you can unmute yourself.
Okay, 2 questions. Are you saying pure or care?
Pure and release. P-U-R.
Okay. And the other question that I saw someone else write too, on the watch, under setup, the first thing is default settings. Do we want that on or off?
That depends on if you want the default settings on or off. So that's just a major category of, do you want it to do what it did when it came from the factory, or do you want it to customize it?
So if you don't know to customize it, start it with the default on and learn about it?
Yeah, because that's all in the user manual. Also, if you go to the watch user manual, it tells you what all those settings mean.
Okay, but
so maybe you can go to that next. We haven't covered that yet. If you want to go to the watch setting button.
Great.
Okay, and where the watch setting button, where am I going with that?
The bottom of your screen on the right. And then, so what she's talking about is the factory reset. And then there's also I wouldn't do that. I'd cancel, but just to show you if someone wants to go back to that, but scroll down a little bit.
So well, she doesn't even have the same screen as me. I'm looking Healy watch, and the first thing is serial number, MAC, and then setup. So she has to click, there you go. So down there, default setting, keep that off?
Well, wait, scroll back down a little bit, Maria. See right here where it shows, like, it shows
up or down. Where do you want, up or down?
Scroll down, so where I can see the top thing, not the very top thing with the serial number, but now go up a little bit where it says setup. So like all of these have options. So you don't have to wait. You can just go to each one. So see the arrow to the right next to watch face style.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you different options of how you want your watch to look. So these are things that you can pick on every item, how you want things to look. So if you go back and do factory settings, it's going to wipe out anything you've done here custom. Okay, then wrist on sensitivity. I put mine on like medium. But click on that one. So this is how much you have to move your watch for it to turn on. So do you want it to be very sensitive, which is going to use up more battery, or do you want it to be not very sensitive, which is going to save battery? Because every time it turns on, it's using battery. So that's one thing.
But you can also tap the screen to turn it on, right?
You can tap the screen to turn it on, but a lot of times, like, you know, if you have like a simple wrist movement, or let's say you move a lot when you're sleeping, it says at the bottom, higher sensitivity takes more battery usage. So I put mine on medium, but you can put it on low, so you don't have to do this so often. You know, you don't have to charge your watch as often. And go back, and the next one is which wrist you wear it on, right or left. So if you wear it on your right, it's fine. You just have to pick that. And then brightness level is how bright you want your watch, not your phone. I don't like mine bright because I don't want it to wake me up at night, because I'm very sensitive to light and stuff. So my setting on brightness is more on the dim side. and you'll see as you make these changes, you'll see your watch change in the moment. Like it'll change like the face style and all that. Screen on time, I would put mine actually on longer, because what I feel like is if I'm looking at something or doing something, I don't like it turning off after like 2 or 3 seconds or 2 seconds. And then vibration level, this is when it is telling you something like, get up, you've been sitting too long, or you start doing the BRA. This is how much. Yeah, it's like a little vibration. And mine's on medium on this one too.
Is that the default? That must be the default, huh?
Yeah, it's the default. Stronger, but I didn't do that. Okay, and the notifications, like you just have to go click on every one of these. You can't hurt anything. You should decide for yourself. This isn't something we can decide, but this is something you should decide. Like, do you want it to tell you when there's an incoming call? This is where you do that. And this is something, if Doug Lind is on the call, this is a new update that was on the list from Tammy. This did not do this before. Do you want to see when you get a text? Do you want to see when you get an email? You have to turn these on to make them work. So for you, Doug, if you're on the call, that was not working before, but now this has been updated. So you have a whole new screen here. Do you want to get Telegram notifications? Do you want to get Instagram? But the thing I don't necessarily like about all that is then your phone's going to be buzzing, and I get a ton of these things. So be selective on which ones you want your phone to notify you.
So can we go back to the default? If I make anything different in all of these below, then I want default off in order to maintain the personalization I've done.
Right. That's what I'm saying too, is that if you go back and if you customize anything, default goes off.
It turns it off.
Right. But if you turn it back on, then you've just reset all the things that you've done custom. But everyone that's on the call tonight that has a watch should go through every one of these settings. And this is one of the first things that I did. But there's a few new things on here that weren't on there before. And I recommend that everybody that has a watch actually go through and push every button, get the watch user manual, and go through every page to see what the things are, because it tells you everything. You might have to look up something on Google to see what actually, because if you don't know what heart rate variability is, it doesn't give you a medical definition, but that's stuff you can on Google to learn, what's going on. Okay, the sedentary reminder, the workout reminder, it already tells you if you sit too long, but you can change these settings. Like if you sit more than 60 minutes between this time and this time, it's like a reminder to get up, move, do something. So these are, no one can really tell you. This is a personal thing for you to determine. I do think it's funny when I sit too long and then my watch tells me to get your butt up and move. I do like that, actually.
Hey, Maria?
Yeah.
When did you order your watch?
I ordered it right before the 600 points ended. Was that August 30th? So I ordered it right before that ended.
That's about the time I think I ordered mine. And my screen, like when, we were back when we did the BRA, and then, you couldn't get a reading on it. But as soon as you hit like the start, my screen shows BRA, and instead of the PPG, it says BIA.
Mine too.
You need to, wait, I can tell you the answer to that. BIA used to be on there. So you need to uninstall the app and reinstall.
Really? Okay.
Well, I did not have luck in trying to update. So there might be a way. Maria, can you see if there was an update? Because I tried to update, because that's what people were telling me on a watch call I did a long time ago, is they were saying it has all these new things. And I was like, mine doesn't have new things. And I couldn't find an update button like there is on the Pink Dot app to search for updates.
Is there one here? Is there one in the back office, in the back part of the Healy watch here for update, to look for an update?
Well, see right where it says firmware update, you just went down a little bit too far, but go back up a little bit, see where it's firmware update. That's what I thought would do it. But when I did that, it didn't do anything. I had to uninstall my app and reinstall, and then I got new stuff, because just like the sleep program, someone told me it would check REM sleep and distinguish your sleep. And mine didn't do that in the beginning, but mine did that after I went and reinstalled the app.
See, it's interesting because I'm looking at your firmware update in your version, mine's the same thing, but I don't have the little arrow to the right of that 5 like yours does.
But that's
And
why
when I click, yeah, when I click it, it just says latest version already. So
You're clicking that little arrow and that's what it's saying, latest version?
yeah, I know you can't see, but I'm clicking the little arrow to the right of the very top one that says firmware update, and it says latest version already.
And see,
what I'm
mine says below that, latest version already installed. That's weird.
With no arrow.
Mine's just like yours. Can you also scroll down, Maria, where it says take photo and see what you get on yours? Just out of curiosity, because mine comes up Chinese. Take photo, click that little arrow and see what you get. Huh. Okay.
I'm
Thank
telling
you.
you guys, your phone does not look like Maria's, and if she just reinstalled the app, that's how you get it to be in the latest version, because that firmware update thing I don't think works. I mean, as far as getting the latest version of the app.
Gwen, I have a question about the update, because I just did that when we were going through this call. I took off the Watch app and then I brought it back on. And now what I'm getting, and it logged in correctly, but I'm getting when I click on it, says mobile Bluetooth is not turned on. Please turn on mobile Bluetooth. Okay, so I have Bluetooth on when I go to settings, but there's 2 options for watch in there, which, I mean, one of them is on and it's not. So would that be what's causing the problem? Like one of them is watch 6 something and the other is Healy watch 9 ED1.
I don't know the answer to that question, except I would and then I would just start from scratch, because it'll recognize the watch you have turned on. So if you clear your Bluetooth, so forget this device, forget the devices, and then you have the watch turned on, it's only going to find the one that's turned on. I don't know which one to tell you to pick, because it might have to do with serial number or something.
Well, it does connect with one. So that you're saying that's probably the one that my watch has.
Well, it has to be, because it would only see turned on.
Okay, but why would I get the message? I can't get into the Watch app because it's this connection.
I can't either right now, though. It's saying that it does Watch app, but it's saying on my Advisor app, inactive subscription. So go to your Advisor app and see if you're having the same problem. That's what we started the call with.
Yeah, I am.
Can't, and we don't know why, except it might be a payment issue, like Michelle said, or it may be something else going on that we don't know.
So let me understand. So you're saying that you can't get into the watch as far as the setting, the different settings like what Maria's doing?
No, because I'm getting that same message that I'm not connected and that the Bluetooth is, and
Right.
maybe Chris and Vanessa are on the call. Maybe someone can escalate that or try to find out from the European connection if they're aware that there's a bunch of people. Like, I don't know how many people on the chat said their watch isn't connecting right now, but I mean, I haven't heard it. I haven't seen anything on the Telegram groups or anywhere that there's an issue like there was before, technical issues.
Yeah,
So,
well, I know that we have not been able to get a renewal on our membership for the DNA. And I'm assuming this may be the Healy Advisor. And it's been over a week, where they cut us off and we're not getting the renewal.
yeah, you're not Michelle, right? You're someone else.
What?
What's your name?
I'm Suzanne. Suzanne and Les. Les was one.
Oh, so Michelle said thing. It's a call. So if we can escalate to Chris to Stefan or Stefan or whoever that we have. And I don't think it'll be a direct call tomorrow, corporate call tomorrow that might say something. I just don't know how many people are having this problem.
Gwen, can I say something? Can you hear me?
Yes, who's this?
This is Brenda Bicknell in Alabama, and I took out just the Analyze app, for just some information in July. and I paid for it. I got it for a full month. And then I had it to renew in August, but they never did it until the 24th. And I think my original date was the 18th. They took the money out, but I never got the app, and I still don't have it. It says inactive subscription. So this has been going on for some time. I did get somebody from Germany that sent me an email the other day saying they were sorry it took so long to get back with me, because I did put a ticket in on the back office, but I hadn't heard back from them. Until the other day. And that's been since, well, they took the money out in August. I notified them because it quit working in July. I mean, not July, but August, the beginning of, well, in August. And so it hadn't been working. It's an issue that they've got, and I think they're aware of it. So you may want to escalate it.
Well, I can't escalate it, but there's people on this call that can escalate it. So I think it'd be nice if they'd cover it on the corporate call, since it's affecting a lot of people. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I talked before the call. We weren't aware that a bunch of people were affected. We just knew we were affected. So because we hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But I think some more people are having problems too. And, evidently it's something that's been going on. I think what somebody else said, it didn't bill their account. And I think that's what happened with mine. And I ended up putting it on another card, but just to make sure. And they did take the money out of the other account, but it was still inactive. And I sent all that in to them. But I think that it wasn't just rebuilding the accounts like it should. So that may be an issue, but
That would
I
only
don't know.
matter. That would only matter on the 4th month though, because when you sign up, if you got the watch bundle, you're prepaying 3 months.
Yeah,
So-
but I didn't have the watch. I just had the Analyze app
Okay.
for
So
1
you're,
month, and yeah, but it within after the first month, it didn't work anymore, even though it was on a subscription.
okay. Well, if I hear anything from Vanessa or Chris or anyone, Maria, Cindy, whoever's on this call, because there's a lot of people and, equal or above me on the call, then we can, I can send it out by newsletter, or Cindy can put it on her Telegram Telegram app. We have lots of ways to communicate with you guys. We just don't have an answer tonight on what the deal is.
I know.
So
I know. Well,
I will say
thanks.
this,
So
that they are aware, especially like there's some people who have ordered the Healy and the watch at the same time, and they started the subscriptions, and they didn't get the watch or the Healy till about 6 weeks later, 4 to 6 weeks later, and they were still charged. So they are aware of that. And of course, because here's the subscription issue. If you don't have a Healy, you don't want that subscription to start until you get your Healy when you order the watch. You know what I mean? And all the apps, the bundle. But if you've got the Healy, then most of us, when we ordered the bundle, we wanted the bundle as soon as we ordered it, very quickly. So they're already aware of that and how we're going to be able to approach that, so that we have some sort of differentiation there when the subscription is supposed to start. But all these other issues, I'll make sure that that Tammy knows about them when we get off, and hopefully they will address it tomorrow on corporate. If it's a global issue or if it's just happening to certain people, and we'll get back with you if you wanted to go ahead and put a support ticket in, or if you want to wait and hear what they say on corporate, or something that comes out on Telegram over the next day or so. It's however you want to do that. But
I think since a lot of people are experiencing some of this, we shouldn't just throw in a whole bunch of tickets. I think we should listen to the call and see if they address it. That probably would be, that'd be.
I agree.
I think that's
this has been going on.
Yes.
Just on the subscription part. And it
Right.
didn't have anything to do with the watch bundle. It was just the subscription to the the Healy app, to Advisor, so that you can look up stuff. And I love it. It's a great thing to have. But when it quit working, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm having to call Laurie. And she's giving me the stuff because I can't get it. I mean, there's nothing I can do. But they did contact me from Germany on Sunday. I got an email. So I'll let you know. And they were real nice, and I was nice back, you know. So we'll see.
Obviously, if it's taken out of your account, you want to be able to use, you know, you want your service what you paid for. So
well, I understand we got situations. You know, we're growing at such a pace that, I mean, I mentioned they're going, oh my gosh, you know, we got so much going on. But they'll get it worked out. I'm not worried about that. I just said, look, I don't want a refund. I just, you know, credit me and let it work. That's all I would need you to do, you know. So hopefully they'll get it worked out. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
So
I know they will. They're good at that. But let's switch gears for just a second. I've pulled up the sleep mode. Gwen, you have used your sleep mode.
Okay, well, you guys,
someone just said,
please, the people that are no longer talking. All right, sorry, Maria, go ahead.
Said someone in Maryland asks, can we go over the sleep mode operation?
Yeah.
How does it know when I'm sleeping or not in the morning? Sometimes it shows I've been sleeping for 14 hours, not. So when you do this, do you set the times you normally go to bed? What do you do here?
Yeah, so the thing is that if you are inactive, so let's say you went straight from sleeping to get up to go in the shower, so you took your watch off, and it's sitting idle and it's not moving because you're not moving, and then you don't put it back on, that could be the 14 hours right there. But you want to set your normal sleep time and your wake time to approximate. It doesn't have to be exact, but let's say you want to say, you know, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Or it might be, if you sleep late on Saturdays, then give yourself a little bit more window and then sit okay. Then it's going to just track the sleep, because it's tracking sleep in a few different ways. It's tracking it through the electrodes, but also it's tracking it through movement, and oxygen levels and other things going on in the body. So there's different parameters that it's checking sleep, because if it just had to do with movement, it wouldn't really be very accurate, and it wouldn't measure REM sleep versus deep, you know, light sleep and all that other stuff. So you want to have the parameter of time, because let's say then you take off your watch because you get in the shower. It's not waterproof. It's water resistant, but I would not wear it in the shower. I mean, water resistant means if you get a few drops on it accidentally from washing dishes, it's okay, but you're not going to have it submerged. You're not going to swim or shower in it or wash your hands. If you're a person who washes their hands all the time and you tend to go up on your wrist, I would be really careful, because that's not what water resistant means. But anyway, once you save it, Maria, then it's only checking then the breathing, the circulation, the movement during this period of time. So it's going to give you a more accurate reading. And that has happened to me before, where I got up. Well, it's happened to me several different ways. One time in the middle of the night, the watch was just bothering me. It was just like, I don't know why that night it was bothering me. And I took it off in the middle of the night. Then it laid in my bed till the middle of the next day, until I realized it's still in my bed. And it did show I had this really long period of sleep. I guess it thought I was totally comatose. So that's a reason to set the parameter there. Every parameter that you set in your watch settings is going to help your watch read your information better and understand you better and what you're doing better. So I would definitely take the time to not do the default settings and to set each one of these up for yourself. Maria, someone on the chat said that their iOS was a higher number than yours. Will you scroll back up to the top and see what your iOS is? What someone on the chat said theirs is 1.46.
1.4.6. Yeah, Julie said that, 1.4.6.
When was the last time you updated this app?
This is Julie. On Tammy's post on Telegram, that is what is showing the latest version. And just so you know, yesterday on the Apple Store, it was the old version. And now today it's showing the new version, the 1.4.6. And on my phone, You don't have to uninstall and reinstall, you just update. You can update.
But Maria,
So maybe
tried-
that's what they're doing on the, maybe that's what they're doing on the Android is
I
they're,
would guess, that's what I thought about, because I also checked Android yesterday and they still had the old version. So.
and it's not even on there right now. When I checked right before the call, I couldn't
Right.
even find it at the Play Store.
Right, so I'm gonna guess that's what they're doing, because this has only been up for, I think, 23 hours on Apple. So they just
Right.
did it.
Okay,
So-
and that may be why some people's are not working because of the new update and syncing, even though mine says subscription not active, but that's good to know because David says I just updated, still shows 1.105. But what we're saying, David, and you might have not been on in the beginning, is that if you have an Android, this is the last update and there is no update available because the Healy Watch app is not available on the App Store.
And
So
when I have an Apple and I just updated it and it's still showing the old version.
okay, so on both it's showing the old version. So
But in the store it shows the new version. But when I updated it, it's not. So it's not like taking the update for some reason.
I know, but that's what that happened to me is I had to uninstall and reinstall and then sync to get the update that the people were telling me with the sleep. When I hit update, it didn't update automatically. I had to uninstall and reinstall to get the latest version.
But that's what I just did.
And it's still,
I uninstalled it and reinstalled it, and I'm still showing the old version. It's very weird.
What is it supposed to be? 1.4.7?
1.4.
Yeah.
Okay,
One
if you
point-
go back, because you probably do have that, because I just redid mine. If you go to, figure out how hold on. If you go to settings and at the bottom, click on info. And then you'll see app version on B1.4.7. To go completely out of
Okay,
there. Go back.
Where do you want me to go to then? I'm sorry.
So,
Actually, before I go there, I just wanted to show somebody clear down here at the bottom is how you change it from 24-hour to 12-hour. Somebody wanted to know how to change that.
Didn't change.
Okay, where would you like me to go now?
Maria,
Okay, so if you go back
settings.
and then
Go-
click, yeah,
Go back here,
click on info
click on
at the bottom.
info, personal info, regular info, okay?
And then
Ah,
app
now see,
version,
yours
I
is 163. Interesting.
Yeah, I just uninstalled and reinstalled, and mine says app version 1.4.7. But then when I go to
That's what
my
I've
Healy
got.
Watch, it shows version 1.1.05.
That's
Well,
exactly
Maria-
what I have and what I did too.
Maria's is a higher version now than what everyone else is saying. She's
Yes.
1.6. But the weird thing is that when you're on the other screen that we were just on and you're doing firmware update, it doesn't tell you that. You have to go here. And I didn't know that. So that's something I just learned.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
Go here and do.
Okay.
Gwen,
Yes.
it's Renee. I just updated mine. And then when I closed out of the Apple Watch completely and went back in, it saved. And now I'm at 1.0.8. So I wonder if Maria were to close out of the Apple Watch and then go back in, if it would be a higher version.
Well,
'Cause
she's
mine
already
was flashing.
she's already higher than anyone else right now. She's at 1.63, 1.6.3. So she's already higher than anyone mentioned. So everyone else is talking about 1.1 or 1.0 or 1.46. She's now at 1.6.3.
Maria, an iPhone? Or an
Android.
No, I have an
Okay,
Android.
So that's what it is. iPhone, I guess maybe hasn't updated theirs yet. Maybe Android, she's got the updated Android version.
Or each one has a different version. In other words, all the Apple people, it sounds like, have the same number. It may not be that Android and Apple are going to show the same number.
True.
That's what I'm hearing.
Julie,
And
I
that makes sense.
But you know what's odd though too, is I still don't have the, what was it, the PPG? And I uninstalled, reinstalled, have the new shut my phone off, turned it back on. I still don't have PPG. I still have the other one, which is
I don't
weird.
either, and I have an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just updated my iPhone as well, and it's the same thing, the 1.105.
But what about on
Maybe
your
Android's got a new one.
Because we're not looking at that anymore. We're looking at go back to that, Maria, under settings and under info. We're not looking at firmware update. Now we're looking at the other settings button. On
info.
I went to info and app version. I updated while you were talking, and I have version 1.4.7, and that says app version. I'm on Apple.
That's me too.
And this is a Droid. This is an Android phone. So
Did you just recently update yours, Maria?
I know I uninstalled and reinstalled, but it was several days. I mean, it was over a week ago, so it wasn't like just today or anything.
Right. And now it's not even showing up on the app on their Android's app store, right? The Play Store.
Yeah, when I went to before the call, I went to the store before the call, I couldn't find Healy Watch. Sure. Okay. So what else do we need to? We've got some people saying, Mary V says, is anyone having troubles with the watch connecting to the Pink app programs? And I think what you're meaning is when I clicked on Being, it should just automatically go over. I haven't when all the apps are working. I haven't. Gwen, have you had an issue with your watch not connecting to your Pink dot to run a program?
That was in the list that Tammy sent out, that was just recently resolved.
Okay, so that might have been a glitch.
List that I sent out on Monday, I think, to all my email people, and it was a detailed list of the watch updates since the week before, and one of them was the connectivity to the Pink dot, it said was resolved. So if that's still happening, I would still go back and update watch, update Pink dot, and then see if that's better. I wasn't having a problem with it personally, but I did see it on the list of the stuff that Tammy sent.
Okay. Carrie wants to know why the pain programs won't transmit. So the pain programs are one solid, like they're either 0.5 or 7.5 Hertz. There isn't a variance of Hertz frequencies within that program itself. It's running 1 Hertz frequency the whole time. So really the transmittal is like a millisecond. It's like, okay, we're done. And then it starts running it. So that's why that's happening. All the other programs that I know of are a variety of Hertz frequencies that needs to be transmitted to the Healy from the cloud. So those pain programs are not. They're typically one. I know the chronic pain and the local stim are 0.5 Hertz and 7.5 Hertz. And you can find that in your manual that you get with your Healy. Can't remember what page it's on, but it's in there.
Also, I'll add one thing to that, Maria, that you told me that pain was also the last program you just ran. It doesn't need to transmit at all.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. If you just ran the sleep program, like if you ran balanced sleep the night before and then you turn your Healy on just to change the program out, it starts running that sleep program again. It starts running exactly what you were running before. It doesn't keep the intensity that you put it up on your phone. If you, hit the plus signal, plus icon several times to get it up to, like, let's say 35%, the next time the Healy comes on, and if you haven't changed that program, the other program that you just did is still in the Healy, and when you turn on the button, it goes that program at 15%. So that's nice to know. I've done that actually driving in the mountains. I'll have it on regeneration or on energy, and knowing that I'm going to lose my cell service, so I won't be able to change my program. I just did this last weekend. And so I was able to just click on my Healy again once that program ran out, and I had another 62 minutes or whatever of energy or regeneration. And it was running at 15%, but I'm still getting something as I'm running through the mountains and going up to altitude. So that's nice to know.
That is good to know. There's a few quick questions we can answer that I see they're easy ones. Can the watch connect to the blue dot? That is a big NO. And my BRA isn't measuring. It says weak signal. Try again. What causes a weak signal? Either the watch might need a charge, or your phone should might need a charge, and your phone I found is on low battery mode, which means you have like less than 25%, or it was on low battery mode and you left it there. That can also mean weak signal, or if the watch is too far away from the phone, which I can't imagine that would happen if you're trying to use you have your phone in your hand, but let's say you're trying to do it with, like maybe someone else. The weak signal.
Also remember it's also photosensitivity too. So you're gonna have to make sure that the watch is up on your wrist well and you're getting good connection. Sometimes a cold finger will not read on that metal plate on the watch face when you're trying to get, your reading. So warm hands are always best, and then good connection on the watch. Don't let it float down around your wrist. Push it up a little bit so it's got a nice connection.
Yeah, and something that came up on a previous call that I wasn't thinking about with weak signal, but you have to leave your finger on the metal thing, and if you take it off, it's gonna give you a signal issue, because your finger has to be on during the entire BRA test, and I always do it with a fairly firm pressure. So I wasn't thinking about it being cold. That's a good point. My fingers aren't usually cold, but it needs to be on there, and a little, not just like barely on there, but it definitely needs to be on there. And I press down, not hard, but with a decent, like I'd say regular pressure. So that could also be not measuring. But if you take your finger off, someone reported that it wouldn't work, and she didn't know to keep your finger on the whole time.
Good point. And that is true, because that's what I did the first time, is I just tapped it to like initiate it, and then realized, oh, nothing's reading. So then I realized I had to keep my finger on it. So hopefully those things will help you. Okay, what else?
Someone put their email on here, and if that was for me, you have to send me an email, because I don't go back through the chat and retrieve emails, because I don't even know how to do that. So if you guys, I'll put my email on here, and because we're going on 2 hours and we probably need to wrap up soon, I want to make a little announcement as well. So I'm going to put my email. If you want to be on my email list, if you found out about this call by someone else and you want to get on the Tuesday night calls, which always are, I think, a little helpful, even if it's not the subject we intended to cover. But because I learned stuff tonight, and I think Maria learned stuff tonight. So I think we all as a team, can really be helpful and learn from Vanessa and Cindy and Chris and other people on the call. So that's awesome. Next week, we're not having a Tuesday call, because I'm going to be in Boulder doing videos with Maria for the advanced class. And Maria, a few people, when I said that earlier, said, hey, you're in Boulder, like, let's all get together. And I was thinking, I'm going to be staying at Peaceful Meadow Retreat, which is Hannah Kroger's place in Boulder, which is really downtown, very close to downtown Boulder. It's a big, beautiful retreat. And I know Maria's going to come out there a day or two, and we're going to have fun, but maybe we could have a little, not really anything, but like maybe a Healy party or a potluck or something.
That would be fun.
So
yeah, that would be awesome.
Maria and I discuss it. I'll ask Isla if that's okay, and then I'll send out an email. If you're on my email list, you'll find out about it. So if you're in the Boulder area, I know that they do a meet and greet. Y'all's meet and greet is on Thursdays, right?
Yes, in Greeley, Thursday nights.
So I might be able to get out to that, and we just make it one thing, or maybe we'll just do a separate, just kind of get together, with no agenda or nothing, just hey, here's all the Healy people near Boulder. That'd be fun.
So yeah, we are working on the advanced practitioners training for the public. It will be live, but we're actually doing a lot of different videos too, because a lot of the stuff we have to do on clearing and how to use different tools, we need video for. So we'll be able to incorporate those videos into what we're doing for the webinar. We'll be able to incorporate, hey, we recorded this a while ago, so don't worry about the hair change color. Don't worry about, I was a redhead. No, I'm not going to do that. Michelle wanted to know, do you know how to fix not being able to add a new client? I heard this somewhere else too. They were not being able to add a new client in the Resonance app. I have not been able to get into my Resonance app today. I think it was because I was in a not so great place with Wi-Fi. But is anybody else having that problem where they can't add new people, or it goes to German and you can't get it back?
Maria,
This is Julie and I had that as well.
Okay, wait, we already covered that earlier. It's on the thing that Chris
That
posted.
update. Yeah.
You guys need to capture that Chris posted, and I'll send it by newsletter as well. It's specific instructions, and one of the items was you can't put whatever with clients in your
Okay, I didn't hear that. Okay, good. So that's being resolved then. Okay.
And I posted it in Frequency Genius as well.
Okay, so it's on Frequency Genius. I'll send it by email. It's on Cindy's Telegram page, I think, and it's on the chat, on this chat. Chris posted it earlier if you guys want to go through the chat and grab that.
Back to the watch really quick.
How do
I
you
run
turn-
a program from the list on the watch and complete them, and then the program doesn't go away. I haven't had that happen. Have you had that happen?
Wait, read that again.
I run a program from the list on the watch and complete them, and then the program doesn't go away. So
Yeah,
like
it won't go away, and it doesn't go away until you run another analysis, because it's the last analysis. That there's nothing, it's just like sitting there for you to do something. So once you run it, it just doesn't disappear. And actually, I think there's a little note, like someone said earlier, it says you're supposed to do those for 5 days.
It goes away the next day.
It goes away if you rescan yourself too, like if it changes. So if you do a new analysis with the little heart, the heart rate variability thing, it also gives you either the same program again or a different one. So don't worry about it not going away just because you ran the program, because it's there until you do something else. And I guess it's true, because I've noticed that too. The next day it kind of tends to clear, but then the one instruction that said, that's a good point, because earlier someone said, well, it says to do it for 5 days, but it's not sitting there for 5 days. So if you don't do the analysis, it doesn't come up again, then you'd have to remember what it was and go do it.
Well, they give you like 7 days worth. So each day you do a different, like series. And I found that like it's 3 the first day, 3 the second, then it kind of tapers off to maybe 1, sometimes 2 a day. I guess it depends on your body, but it's like a 7-day plan.
Yeah, it definitely depends on your body. And that's how people are accumulating so many programs in their program pool, because whatever's on the screen is not the only recommendations you're getting. Because what's showing up on the screen for me has been very similar each time, like the heart rate variability ones, because my HRV was so low. But if you go to the program pool, there's lots of stuff there that it's putting on the calendar for you. So don't get misled that you only have those 2 programs that it's recommending, because that's not true.
Yeah, Gwen, that was my question. Yeah, I go through, do it. I run them like, the day one, it'll have all 3 of them. I'll run those. I'll be connected, and I'll do a new, scan and update, and none of them ever go away. So I don't know, maybe when the Android app comes back, I can reinstall the Android watch and see if that fixes it, or just.
I don't think they go out of your program pool unless you actually delete them.
Okay.
Like my program pool got quite large, because not only was I doing the test, I was also, measuring my sleep, and I was also looking up health conditions for other people. And then I was looking up stuff and showing people how to add it to my program pool. So my program pool was completely convoluted. I don't think it's a bad idea every once in a while to just go and start over. My opinion, or you can go in there and delete them. But, after a while, it's kind of good to start over and what do I do now? Because it keeps accumulating and accumulating. And then you have so many, it's kind of overwhelming. Plus you don't have enough time in a day to do all those.
Yeah, I just thought once you ran day 1 and you completed it, the next day it would go back and say, hey, you're on day 2, and then go to those day 2 programs.
It does. Go back to day 1, and your day 1 list is going to keep getting bigger based on how many things you do. So
Okay.
day 1 might be 3, and then it'll be 7, and then it'll be 12, and then it'll be however many. Your program pool just keeps getting bigger and bigger, even though when you're looking at the calendar, it only gives you like 7 at a time. Your program list, mine was probably over 80 programs. Well, that's more than 7 times 7, which would be 49. So 7 days a week times 7 programs. So I was getting 49 put on the calendar, but there was another 40 that were, waiting to be done, but the list wasn't getting shorter.
So Gwen, on this, I've got, up on my screen, I've got being there. Can I delete that from here?
I don't know if you can delete that. It'll change though, whenever you get that analysis done.
Where were you saying that you could delete it from your pool? Is that in?
That's on the advisor app. That's
Gotcha.
not
So
right here.
that's not here. Okay. Okay. But you can delete it from there. Okay.
There'll
Yeah.
be a different one tomorrow. So like if you didn't run a BRA tomorrow morning, if you look, you'll have day 7 and it'll say a different one for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
It'll be
sometimes
gone tomorrow.
they're not the same, but I found that will change. But a lot of times that general one will be a gold program, I've noticed. And then the other two on the right tend to be more in the HRV, stress, blood pressure, tension, rigidity, all the stuff that you think of having to do with what the BRA is testing.
What I noticed too is the one that's in the middle. So if you have 3 of them, and it's usually the first day, and the one in the middle is a watch program. So it's like the HRV. And then the one on the far right is a nutrition. It's a DNA.
Yeah, but they might be the same because HRV has a program in nutrition and has one in the watch programs. So it'll be slightly different. And you're right, it'll be one nutrition and one watch, but they could say the same thing, but one will say like DN HRV and the other one will just say HRV.
Right. And what's weird is I of course mine just died, but mine will say, like hers right now says general across the top. I want to say that it says watch and then it says DNA. So it'll tell you like where they are within as well.
Yeah, they will. And if you click on them and if everything's working correctly, and if you have, for those of you that think it's not connecting on the Pink Dot app, what I found is that usually meant I actually had the Pink Dot app open in the background somewhere. And so if you make sure before you go into here and you close all your blue and pink dot stuff, and then you click on this, I did not personally have a problem going right into it. And I showed that on many calls where I forgot to close it. It wouldn't connect and go to the Pink Dot app and go straight to Bing. So they say they fixed that in Tammy's email, but I wonder because it was always to me that the app was open in the background because I just used that for something else. So if you don't close that Pink Dot app first before you go here, in the past, it wouldn't automatically connect to the Pink Dot because just like it won't open the Pink Dot if you already have it open anyway, it's the same problem. So I don't know how they fixed that because if it was running in the background, that was always, that was always a thing to tell all your downline, make sure those apps are closed and show people how to close them because that's usually the big conflict. So Maria, do you have, well, I don't know if we want to end on this. I don't know what your status is with your Healy being on or charged in your Pink Dot app, but if you click on Bing, if you didn't have the Pink Dot app open in the background, it should connect not only to your Healy, but it should go into the gold programs and it should really go, all you have to do is hit the start button.
Yeah, I tried that earlier, but my Healy was charging as well. So now I've got enough charge. Let's see if it'll go there.
So Gwen, can I say something?
Uh-huh.
I heard a little bit the last, but after I did my heart rate variability and my EKG, I went and took some supplements. I didn't like what I saw, but anyway, on the here's what I have to do with my iPhone because you're so right. If you're going in and out of the apps and everything, it takes a while for it to connect sometime, and I don't like to wait. So I just go straight. And I know Chris had mentioned this as well and I didn't know this, but the iPhone 10 apparently has some Bluetooth issues. So I just, you know how when you swipe up, it's supposed to close it out, but it doesn't close out. It'll be running in the background still. So I just go straight to settings. I go to the Healy app and the settings on my phone. I just click the Bluetooth off and then put it back on and it disconnects it immediately. And then I'm able to go right on into the next, to the Blue app or wherever else I'm doing.
Yeah, those are the two great tips is the Bluetooth will disconnect or closing the app properly will disconnect.
So yeah, this just went right into Bing. I pressed Bing on the watch app. And now that my Healy is charged enough to receive that, it's now going.
Okay, so that's how it should work. And it takes a second to go from one to the other. Just be patient. But yeah, that's a good tip, Vanessa, is the Bluetooth. I used to do that too before I realized that the app was in the background. And once I got the hang of that, I've never had to worry about the Bluetooth thing again. But both of them are good ideas for people that feel like their thing is stuck and they don't know what to do. And for this thing, y'all saw it took about a minute for it to go from pushing that button to directly running the program. But a minute isn't that long. It's just a thing, people are saying it's not doing it, but they got to wait. It also depends on Wi-Fi and how fast your Wi-Fi is and stuff like that too. So it's not just up to Healy. If you're in a
my Healy has taught me patience. If it's taught me a lot of things, but one of the things it's taught me is patience. Just wait, allow the screen, allow everything to go, because it looks like it's frozen. And I think a lot of people will click out of it because they think that means it's frozen, and really it's just processing.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Where's the screen that you had the square that said click on being? Because I saw it on your screen, and when I went to mine, no square showed up, even though my phone my watch is now working. Yeah, what screen is that?
That's the health. See down at the bottom next to BRA where it says health, that's the one that's lit up. So that's where I'm at, is that health screen.
Okay.
All the other ones are grayed out. Do you see that part?
No, I clicked on it, so now I'm on health, and it says stress systematic.
There you go.
So
there you go. So you would turn on your Healy. Turn on your Healy, make sure it's on. And then you would just click on that, and it'll take you right to those Healy Watch program pages.
And I must have.
Sure, you don't need that app open in the background doing something earlier.
Do I have to close the Healy Watch? I can't close the Healy Watch and click on it at the same time.
Nope. You want it on, you just want to make sure that you don't have the other pink app open or the Resonance open. You want to make sure that this Healy Watch app is the only thing open at the moment.
Yep, it is, and it's working. Cool. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're at over 2 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and start saying good night. And my doggies are always anxious about this time and going in circles. And Maria and I will let you.
Really quick before you end, Gwen, if people, there's a lot of information in the chat. So if you scroll with your mouse over the chat anywhere, right click, and it'll say select all. You can select all, then open up a Word document and go into that Word document and hit paste. And it's going to be about 40 to 50 or 60 pages. You're not going to want to print it, but you can save it as today's chat. And then you can go back and look at all the information that's in here.
The other thing you can do is on the bottom right, there are 3 dots, click the chat, and then you go into your Zoom app on your device, and all those chats are saved there by date.
Yep, exactly. So that's just, there's a lot in the Zoom right now, or in the chat right now that people may want to go back on. So, okay, we're all good. Everybody have a great night, and sorry we didn't get to what we needed to get to or what we thought we were going to get to, but sometimes it works out for the best.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. We got through a lot of questions. Okay, so no call next week. Just remember, because I'm going to get a lot of emails saying we're on Zoom and you're not there. And I'm going to say, remember, well, I'm not going to say anything because I probably won't be checking emails. So if you can just let people know there will be no Zoom call next Tuesday, and we might have a get together, but don't plan on it. We'll just let you know if I can make that happen, if you're in the Boulder area. Thanks,
Have a great
Maria,
night, everybody.
Chris, and thanks, Vanessa, and thanks, Cindy, and everybody else that helped us get through this.
Thanks
Thank
for all
you, ladies, very much.
All right, thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Say hi, buddy. There's Eddie. Everybody say hi to Eddie.
You too.